This is Sony ZV-1. It's a 20.1 megapixel compact camera with 24 to 70mm f1.8 to f2.8 Zeiss lens, built-in ND filter, the legendary 1-inch CMOS sensor, a side flip-out screen, multi-interface shoe, directional mic that comes with its own windscreen, up to 4K 30 frames per second, 1080p 120 frames per second, 100 megabits per second video, up to 960 frames per second slow-mo, S-Log2, S-Log3, HLG picture profiles, and a fantastic active stabilization. It is basically the RX100 we've been asking for since 1984, and now it is here. And it's a lot cheaper than the Sony RX100 series. So I guess the question is it any good? RX100 series is legendary, expensive, compact-sized cameras, but at least until Mark 7 they were not really optimized for video. They didn't have a mic in, none of them except Mark 2 had a hot shoe, 4K video was limited to 5 minutes until Mark 7, and the stabilization was not good. But what kept us using RX100 series despite all those things were the incredible image quality, delicious depth of field, and fantastic autofocus. There's just something about 1-inch sensor and the 24mm f1.8 lens that just works. It's not too wide to make you look like a potato, not too narrow to cut you out of the frame. It is just right. And for years and years and years we asked for a more video-oriented RX100. I didn't care about the flash, didn't care about the electric viewfinder, didn't care about the zoom, didn't care about the ring on the lens. And Sony listened, but they didn't even stop there. If you're a beginner or if you don't care about the aperture, shutter speed, ISO, etc., you can just set this camera to auto and start shooting. It will take care of everything for you. The flip out screen is great. It doesn't get blocked behind something you mount on the camera. The camera also turns off by itself when you shut the screen facing inwards and turns back on when you open it up. The windscreen that comes with the camera is fantastic and it makes a huge difference. Right out of the box, this camera is ready for great content creation. The grip is placed very nicely and it helps the camera stay in your hands very easily. Compared to RX100 series, it's a little bigger, but if you ask me, that is totally fine. However, I wish it had the mode dial like RX100 because that simply works faster when you want to turn on your camera in a certain mode. When it comes to ports, ZV-1 has microphone in, micro USB and micro HDMI. ZV-1 runs on NPBX1 batteries, which is the battery RX100 series and FTRX 3000 cameras use. However, the battery life is much better than RX100 Mark V. As usual, touch function doesn't work while you're in the menu, but it is so easy to get used to it. In no time you'll be changing settings without even thinking what is where. It has fantastic eye autofocus, face priority in multimetering, making sure the brightness of your face is proper. If you want beauty effects, boom, turn them on with one button. Beauty low, beauty medium, beauty high, beauty off, beauty high. I'm feeling pretty, might delete it later, I guess. And let's say you want the background to be blurry, which is blurry right now, but if you want and if you don't know how to set it, you just hit one button and it makes the background blurry. And let's say your friend jumped into the frame. Hey, and you want her to be in focus as well. You hit one button, you don't have to deal with anything, you don't have to change anything. It jumps to f5.6. If you're done and she's not leaving, she wants all the clout and everything to herself, you can hit the button again. I'm using the vlogger remote, by the way. And now it's all about you again. Are you talking about a product in your hand? turn product showcase on, it turns off stabilization and eye autofocus using the 315 phase detection autofocus points. It focuses on the thing that is closest to the camera. No more palm focusing. We're done with that. You just hold it up and that's it. And you can bring it up to 5 centimeters. The minimum focus distance is 5 centimeters, which is great. You can tap on the screen to track an object, which is actually pretty impressive. You can also get the Vlogger accessory kit, which comes with one of my favorite accessories, shooting grip with wireless remote controller that allows you to zoom in and out, focus, take a photo, shoot a video, or toggle whatever is programmed at C1. Shooting grip also turns into a tripod and you can adjust the angle and the rotation of the camera as you wish. The kit also comes with a 64GB memory card and a pouch for the grip. In time, you love what you see and you want to get more out of your camera, that background defocus button is customizable. Tweak it as you like, assign it to the built-in ND filter, to a picture profile or high frame rate. Get the filter adapter and use more filters. Dive into S-Logs, HDR, start binge watching Gerald Undone, Josh Yeo and Jason Wong. Experiment slow motion, time-lapse, the world is your playground. You want even better audio? You can use the multi-interface shoe with Sony ECM XY-ST1M or go wireless. Don't like scratches? Apply a screen protector. What comes out of the box is just the beginning. By the way, Sony says they are working on a new PC software that will allow ZV-1 to be used as a webcam when it is connected to your computer via USB cable. No need for Elgato Cam Link, no nothing. Plug it into your computer and start streaming or look beautiful during your conference calls. They say this feature will be available in summer 2020. You can use Imaging Edge and Movie Edit add-on apps on your smartphone or tablet to edit the videos you shot on ZV-1. Movie Edit will actually read the accelerometer info and apply more stabilization to your footage even if you didn't have the stabilization turned on in the first place. You can crop it, reframe it, retime it, track an object, get it ready to be shared on social. However, because it doesn't have a USB-C port, you cannot transfer the files to your phone or tablet using those cables. It has to be done via Wi-Fi. And that takes a little time. Also, it can only export in 1080p. Okay, now it's time for the microphone test. I have Sony RX100 Mark V here and then Sony ZV-1 right there. Now what you're hearing is Sony RX100 Mark V. And now what you're hearing is ZV-1. We're out on the street. And if I probably start rotating a little bit, it's gonna be a wind noise, but worry not because we have this for ZV-1 and I'm just gonna, there's probably no wind sound anymore. Before we talk about stabilization, as you can see the color science on ZV-1 is much better than RX100 Mark V and the face priority in multimetering is adjusting the brightness according to my face and it makes the footage better. Now both cameras have standard stabilization turned on and there's not much difference, but when I turn the active image stabilization on ZV-1 the camera applies 15% crop and the result is much better compared to RX100 Mark V. Right now under the sunlight I can see that the screen, even though in 4K 30 frames per second you cannot change the screen brightness, is actually brighter compared to Sony RX100 Mark V and it still has all the battery. Meanwhile, Sony RX100 Mark V lost 1 bar battery. Which brings us to overheating and battery life. To make this test more difficult for ZV-1, I used an old battery on ZV-1 and put the battery that came with ZV-1 into RX100 Mark V. At first on ZV-1 I kept the auto power off temperature to standard so that both devices can stop recording 4K video after 5 minutes. RX100 Mark V dimmed its screen during the 1 minute and 50 second of second recording and turned off due to overheating during 2nd minute and 32 second of third recording. ZV ZV-1 dimmed its screen and showed the orange temperature sign during the 4th consecutive recording and shut down after 3 minutes and 56 seconds. I turned on ZV-1 without letting it cool down and set the auto turn of temperature to high and hit record. Meanwhile, I kept on turning on RX100 V and hitting record as much as I can. At one point, I placed a fan on RX100 V to help it going. In the end, RX100 V lasted around 48 minutes, and with all the rests and fan, it was able to record for 35 minutes and 35 seconds. Meanwhile, ZV-1 with the older battery lasted around 59 minutes and recorded video for 57 minutes and 16 seconds. Now that's impressive. I love how I can hold this with one hand, especially when the screen is out. You have a really nice grip on the camera. The screen is out of your way and the grip on the left just sits in your palm. It's a very comfortable grip. Also, the polycarbonate body feels nice and sturdy. The flip mechanism of the screen feels good. Up to 1080, 60 frames per second, you can have the screen brightness turned all the way up to sunny day. And while an external screen is connected to your camera, for example, let's say you have a monitor, the eye autofocus works up to 4K 24 frames per second, which is really good. However, if you're wearing polarized sunglasses, you may not see the screen properly. That's why I'm not wearing polarized sunglasses right now. But the solution is easy. All you need to do is get a screen protector. However, not every screen protector works. You have to find a screen protector that will work. I wish it had a bigger battery, but at the same time I have so many of those old batteries that I can just toss them into my bag and use whenever I need them. Also, the battery lasts a lot longer compared to the older RX100 series cameras, so that's a plus. However, it has no weather sealing or water resistance. You may have guessed it because there's a giant grill on top of it as microphone. And when it's mounted, you cannot reach to the memory card and the battery. Of course, I wish it shot in 4K 60 frames per second, but to me, all of those are not deal breakers. Just look at the quality of this image. I feel like this is a camera solution for everyone. If this camera was out while I was wrestling with my RX100 Mark IV or Mark V, I'll be switching to ZV-1 immediately. With its lens, the multi-interface choose, on-camera mic, mic input, tasty stabilization, and the convenience. This is it. This is my camera. And as of this moment, I am the only one who has it. Which reminds me, I should call Justin and Jenna and make them jealous. Guys, I have a surprise for you. See this?
Oh.
Yeah, this is Sony ZV-1 and I am the only one who has it right now. Can you believe it?
The one with the flip out screen that looks like this? This one? That does like the product showcasing? I love the product showcasing. It's so cool. The focus is so fast. Does that one? You see it flips?
No. This. I'm not talking about. This is ZV-2, not 1. 1 is the older version. Okay, ZV-1. When did you guys get?
I love it. It's so great. Can we talk about the beauty filter though?
Yes. Can we talk about the beauty filter?
Oh my God! It's like I'm 2006 again. I just started making YouTube videos. I'm beautiful and young.
I tried it on myself. It got rid of the wrinkles on my forehead.
Yeah. Yeah. Awesome. Footage, and then I was like, okay, I need to go shoot this something else in low because I look too beautiful. It's gonna distract away from the product.
If you've been following me, you probably know that I have a long history with Sony RX100 series cameras. I used most of them, Sony RX100 2, skipped 3, 4, 5, tried 6, 7, and I stuck with 5 and 4. I use them all the time, mostly for my beauty shots or whenever I need something compact that I can take with me whenever I need to shoot something like this. But this is something else. I really like this. This is definitely replacing my RX4 and RX5. This is what I want. So thank you, Sony. I like it. I'll probably keep it.